We haven't had a think piece in a while.
We have not, and we will think about that while we come up with one. Hey, there you are. How have you been? I bet you're wondering how we've been. Well, we have been on a little hiatus. By the way, my man Fist Pump is back healthy. My buddy had COVID-19. Thankfully,
I got the 19.
They got the 19, the C19, and it was 2 weeks of misery, but he is back. He's back like Ali tonight. Like
it wasn't
Ali.
that bad. It was just staying in my bedroom.
It wouldn't go away.
Yeah.
It wouldn't quit. So we had to take a little hiatus. The hiatus is over. We are back, and by the way, we are back on a Saturday night because we're going to do a lot of things tonight.
Let's be honest, though. I mean, my wife is the COVID captain. So.
He's not lying. He's not making that up.
Every
it's
time.
A little harsh.
Every time you come out of the bedroom, she's spitting CDC guidelines at you.
Good Lord.
Well, did you know? You actually can't go up a flight of stairs for the first 2 days.
So much to unpack there. Anyway,
I'm just kidding.
Welcome back to I Don't Disagree, IDD, for those of you who know. That is the redoubtable one himself. Welcome back, Mr. Thomas Izzo.
I went from goatee
to
now I'm growing
out. It's coming out for the holidays?
Yes.
Okay. I am the highly questionable one, Arjun Miliaccio.
That's
it is
him.
great to see you on a sack Saturday night. Jesus, what is it, 70 degrees right now? We are taping this late night.
You'd think we're in San Diego.
You would think, yeah. It is. This is November 6th, ladies. That we are at the midnight hour. It is, what is it, 70?
68.
68, and this is comfortable. I could get used to this, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome back to I Don't Disagree, the show of non-competitive banter, bitter, all that good stuff. But hey, we have a lot of feel-good stuff tonight, and we will get into Cry Me in a bit because I know Tom's got an opinion on that, and I want to hear it. But we're going to start with the man, the myth, the legend. Congratulations. Dusty Baker gets over the hump, closes the deal tonight in grand fashion down there in the Lone Star State. Congratulations to the Astros getting that in 6. And this, to me, that team. Yeah, they were good. But
they were better than the Phillies.
They were. And
they
had the deepest pitching staff, I'll tell you what. And they were consistent, and once they got on that run, they ran past the Yankees and left them in the dust. And
I think they set the record for the lowest bullpen ERA in the playoffs.
I think.
It was like 0.87.
It was stupid, and they delivered.
Crazy.
So kudos to them. Dusty Baker, man, how long? 22 years as a manager. Been there a couple times before, so he's been close, but he could never get over the hump. So you caught this. He was watching it with Penny, with his daughter, and so what was your first initial when this happened, when they finally got that out, and what went through your mind first thing?
I was glad that the Phillies didn't win it.
Well,
that was the first thing that went through my mind, and I kind of felt douchey about that.
Why?
Because I don't like preying on other people's misery. But
there
was this little feeling of like, all right, the Phils didn't win. Because I felt like if the Phillies had won, it's a pain in the ass as a Mets fan.
Yeah, I mean, but that's like the Yankees. Well, the Phillies have the Yankees. Let's not go there. I'm sorry. It'd be like Tampa Bay winning for me. Because as a Red Sox fan, that would bother me.
There you go.
So I can understand. Sorry, so what was your second thought? You get over that?
My second thought was good job, Dusty Baker.
Finally.
Because I feel like everybody likes Dusty Baker.
Yeah, to me, he's a class act. He's everything you want in a coach, manager. Great with the players, knows when to put his foot down, but he doesn't strangle them. He lets them be who they are and lets them play.
I'm pretty sure that's his second World Series appearance.
Second or third? As a manager? He won in 81. He won in 81 as a member of the Dodgers with Tommy Lasorda and those boys.
And then he took the Barry Bonds.
Yes.
San
that was
Francisco
the first one.
Giants.
Yeah.
And then he managed the Chicago Cubs Bartman team. That didn't.
Oh, that's
right.
Yes.
Wasn't he the manager there?
He said it's funny. They asked him about that the other day, and he said if Bartman's not there, he catches that ball. And now look,
that's such bullshit.
He thinks he does. Now
again, I don't think so.
I get I don't care if I agree or disagree on that. That's his opinion. But the bottom line is he has every right to be angry about that.
Yeah. But less about that guy and more just about the fact that they blew it.
They did blow it.
They blew it. It had nothing to do with Bartman.
They blew it. But the Cubs have a fan base that is like the Red Sox.
And the Mets.
And the Mets.
Right, and you blame it on some dumb shit.
They blame it on curses.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like the Mets fans blaming Timmy Trumpet.
Yeah, that was it. That was stupid. Look, I'm not. That was not his fault. I knew the
season was over the minute.
Yeah, was Jerry Seinfeld who said that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on. And I love Seinfeld, but come on, Jerry, man, really stop.
That's silly.
That sounds like Jerry never picked up a ball in his life and skipped gym class his entire life. Because come on, man, no, that's not what happened.
He skipped gym class
his entire life. He was the kid with always had the sick note. Yeah. So anyway, but
I also the other thought that went through my head was like I understand as a Phillies fan you'll be upset right now.
Yeah.
But the Astros, I think we're probably 20 wins better than the Phillies. Right? Didn't the Phillies win 87 games?
They won 90. They won 90.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. They won 90.
Wow.
They did.
That surprises me if they won 90.
They were hot. They got hot at the end of the year. Hold on. If I go to the standings,
I didn't think they won 90 games.
Let me see here. Well, you might be right. Hold on. I thought they won like 92, but I could be wrong. Hold on. Let me see. Here we go. So, all right, Phillies. You're right. 87 and 75.
87 games.
Yeah.
The Astros won 107 games.
The Astros were very, very, very. They were 106 and 56.
106.
Yeah, way off.
Yeah. I mean,
and look, they were only five. They were 5 games behind the Dodgers, who looked like
exactly
the 86 Celtics, the 85. Pick a team, the 07 paid whatever, and then they obviously faded.
So that's why that went through my head, and I was like, look, as a Phillies fan, you got to be pissed.
Yeah,
but you really
the team that beat you won 106 games.
Philly played them tough too to win 2 games.
Look, I thought it was going to go 6 because Philly was going to. I thought they'd take 2 because they're tough.
Nobody had beaten the Astros yet.
Yeah, they were undefeated going into the series, and Philly took 2 of the first 3.
Remember, they swept Seattle after being down 7. Weren't they down like 7-1 in that first game?
They came all the way back to win 8-7, and that launched them. Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, there's no shame to Philly. They were not supposed to win this series.
No.
The fact that they went 6 and
they went on a great run.
They went on a great run, and there's no shame in that. But the better team won. And it wasn't like, look, you would have had it's hard to ask a team to play that far over their head for 3 or 4. That's hard. Exactly. You could do it for 1 or 2, 3 in a row. I mean, and they went through a lot to get there. They really
did that for like a month.
They did. They played
3 weeks, whatever.
They beat what? They beat the Dodgers. They beat the Braves.
They beat the Cardinals in St. Louis.
Yeah.
They beat Atlanta.
Yeah.
Then they beat the Padres.
Stop right there. Yeah, the Padres.
Now the only thing better would have been if they had beaten the Dodgers.
But the Padres beat the Dodgers.
Right.
So I mean, and they beat
the Padres beat the Dodgers and the Mets.
So I mean, look, San Diego had a hell of a run. So I mean, now I wanted to ask you this question.
They were playing over there too.
They were. We talked now when we did our playoff preview. Mm-hmm. We said that before this tournament started, that this was going to be the best thing for baseball, and this was going to be awesome. We thought all but one team could win it. It was one team. We both agreed. Cleveland. We couldn't see Cleveland getting to the.
I think I said I can't see the Phillies winning.
Well, they did.
I think I might have said that.
I said Cleveland, but I mean the bottom line is take the Mets out of it because
Philly had a decent shot.
Take the Mets out of it just for a second. In terms of what happened in this playoffs, how would you rate it? I thought it was exciting. I thought it was great, and my Red Sox weren't in it. I was pissed. 6th highest payroll, 3rd in batting, not in it. And so I was pissed, but from a talent standpoint, from what happened and how each round had its own set of storylines, I thought it was amazing. And baseball's not my number one thing.
I thought it was outstanding, but for me, it can only be so good because I was devastated by the Mets.
You had a team that had a little bit on paper had a legitimate shot and underachieved, and they did underachieve. Let's be clear.
Once the Mets lost, I did not appreciate the playoffs for what they were.
Yeah.
And they were pretty crazy.
There was some amazing shit.
Yeah.
And that, by the way, we didn't talk about that guy's catch the other night in Game 5 when he went into the wall, bounced off and saved that for the Astros. And what the hell? No padding. He went into the fence. I mean, what the? That was talk about. I mean, that took cojones.
It's because I think that's where they have like the out of town scoreboard.
Whatever, you got to have dude. That's dangerous.
On it.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Kudos to him. That was that play. I mean, there was a lot of stuff like that going on in the whole playoffs.
Aaron Rowan busted his face on the center field fence.
Yeah, I mean,
years ago in that park, they did put a little padding actually.
So for me, and I figured that I kind of expected that, and I totally agree with him.
You mean my answer about how I couldn't appreciate it?
Well, because the Mets,
right?
If my Red Sox went in and won 101 games, and then did that, I'd be
choked out in the first
bullshit.
round. Yeah,
and I have 2 stud pitchers like that.
Right. And one of them just poo-poos?
Whatever. I mean...
One hit to end the series?
Oh, so I totally understand that. I'd feel the same way.
Yeah.
If Boston had done this. So I get that. But I said that aside, the rest of it for me... Because I had the Mets get... The
new format is really cool.
I love it. I love the new format. I love this 2 out of 3 opening weekend where it's just baseball.
That was cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
And that lived up to its billing. And there were some shockers. And but the thing is, there were so many good teams this year. We were following up to the end of it, and we're like, this is going to be a hell of a...
Yeah.
And it was. It did not disappoint. And to me, that's very important because rarely do things live up to the hype. But this thing exceeded it, I thought. Mm-hmm. I thought it was actually better. And the only thing for me is because I picked the Mets to get to the World Series, so I look like a dickhead. But that was, to me, and I'm not even a Mets fan, but I figured they'd get that far. To me, it was going to be, if it was not going to be them, it was going to be the Dodgers against the Astros. And I thought the Astros could win. I would have loved to have seen that series. But, I mean, hey, look, San Diego played to their talent.
Yeah.
They actually played to their talent. And next year... they're going to get another bat back into the middle of that talent.
That's true.
They should be even better. Off season, I know this is way forward, but a lot of things got to happen. The judges out there floating around.
Dude, I'm so sad about the Mets.
Yeah, but they listen. That guy will spend money.
But here's my thing,
and
so
they have a good manager.
They do. I'm not trying to be negative, but in terms of personnel, I don't see how they don't get worse.
Well,
like it's just I don't see how they can get better.
If you do one thing, because this is the truth, and Houston proved this, pitching wins. So
these are young guys.
But if you're the Mets, the one thing you do is you keep that pitching staff intact, or you add to it. You don't lose one of these top.
But here's the conundrum. Okay, so you keep the pitching staff together, and then you put all your marbles on an almost 40-year-old and a mid-30-year-old who's breaking down.
All right, well,
and then you get to the end of the season, and it's a coin flip whether or not you're going to have your guns throwing like your guns.
Are they both free agents?
No.
Okay.
Scherzer's making $43 million.
Okay, and what about DeGrom? He's back too.
He's a free agent.
Okay, so to me,
they're number three. He's a free agent.
How old's DeGrom?
He's like 34, I think. But like his elbow has been fucked up for a while.
He's breaking down. That's a very tough situation.
So it's tough.
Without knowing off the top of my head what free agencies it looks like in terms of pitchers, I wouldn't really, at this time, at least not know where to go in that direction. Because you have to have a contingency plan if you do lose him.
And the thing is, like,
there's nothing in the minors they have coming up in the farm system.
In terms of pitching, they haven't talked much about minor league pitching prospects.
Okay,
we have the number one prospect in the major leagues, our catcher.
Yeah,
they brought him up too late last year.
Yeah,
or this year.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Let's not talk about the Mets. They're not worth talking
about. Oh, no.
Right
Anyway, this is about Dusty Baker.
Right.
Congratulations, Dusty. We are very happy for you.
Dusty.
Dust that off. And now he's got one as a player and one as a manager. And that team's not going anywhere.
Dusty Baker's in the Hall of Fame, right?
He is. I believe he is. 16, I think he is.
If not, he should be now.
Oh, I think this was
he should be a Hall of Famer as a manager.
Well, he's got a heck of a record. So, I mean, and he's been very successful everywhere he's went. He's been successful. Yeah. So, and look, he's not done. I mean, and I don't think they're done. They're going to have a say in this next year. And look at, there's a couple things that can change the landscape of baseball depending on where some of these guys go. And DeGrom could be one of them, depending on where he goes, if he can hold up. That's the big elephant in the room. Can he hold up? Now, he pitched pretty well in the playoffs. It wasn't him. He didn't cost him. But it was the older guy.
But he had like 10 starts all year.
Yeah, that was the problem. So look, he's got to go just take a month off and get healthy. And don't start throwing again until you are 100% healthy. And just take because you get older, you got to manage yourself differently. You just do if you want to last.
Okay.
So enough of that.
But we say, I think the Astros are definitely a dynasty.
I know
they only have 2.
You got to get 3 to be a dynasty.
Dude, but they got like 6 straight ALCSs.
You got to get one more. 3 is a dynasty. You know why? Because if you do 3 in 6 years, which is what they could do if they win next year, that would be a dynasty. I know baseball, it's very because there are things you can't control.
Dude, I don't know, man. Like,
I don't know if they're a dynasty. They're
who
close.
did the Braves beat last year in the World Series? The Astros.
Yeah, so they were there. Well, yeah, they've been there. I'm just saying, I don't know if they're a dynasty yet. To me, the number's 3. You get 3 championships, you're a dynasty. You get 3 in 10 years, you're a dynasty. They have time. You could be right. They could win 2 more. Who the hell knows? I mean, they got that kind of talent. And if they keep that pitching staff together, they're always going to have a legitimate shot. It would come down to health. So my thing is, look, and the Dodgers aren't going anywhere. The Braves.
Okay, let's look at this real quick.
Yeah.
So, 2017 won the World Series. 2018 lost the championship series.
ALCS. Right?
Yep.
Okay.
2019 lost the World Series.
Okay.
2020 lost the championship series.
Yep.
2021 lost the World Series. 2022 won the World Series.
So they've been there, 4 times and won 2? Is that my math right there?
No.
They've been
Oh, yeah, you're right.
4 times and won 2?
2, 3, 4, and 2.
Yeah. So they're one more.
To at least the AL Championship Series?
A lot.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row.
That's very impressive.
That's not a dynasty?
I don't know. I think 3 is the magic number. You get 3. The Washington Redskins, who nobody talks about, won 3 in 10 years. They were a dynasty when they had Joe Gibbs. They were. And there was a couple of the Niners were the dynasty of that era, but there was another dynasty out there. And no one talked about it. The Giants won 2.
I guess you don't call people dynasties if you just for getting to the championship.
No, if you win 3 in 10 years or less, you're a dynasty. Because that's hard to do.
Yeah,
it's a lot. You look at a lot of teams haven't done that.
I mean, 2 in 6 years is pretty damn good.
That's hard to do. What they've done is hard to do. But when you say that word, that D word, man, you think about the list of the D word, not the dynasty word. Okay, that word. You look at the teams on that list. All of them got it. Yeah, of course. All of them have at least 3 championships in a 10-year window. All of them.
You mean in terms of dynasty?
In terms of dynasty, there isn't a team that doesn't have 3 in 10 or less. Isn't one, and there isn't one below that number that's in there. So, because of the one that with the Atlanta Braves of the night or whatever, they won like 14, whatever, but they got 1 World Series title. They went there 3 or 4 times and only got 1. They're not a dynasty. They're not. The Yankees that won 5 in they were a dynasty. So I mean, the Lakers, Celtics, there are teams like that, but. Obviously, the Patriots, 6 in 19 years. That's the definition of a dynasty.
Yeah, so that's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. So, I mean, you have to be... But again, if Houston wins it next year, dynasty. Or in 2 years, dynasty.
Even in 2 years.
Dynasty. Again,
I feel like they're borderline dynasty right now.
They are. They're 1 champion. And they could have got it already. They could have got 2 other ones.
Right.
They could have 4 right now. So, that's why I think they're going to get there again. I don't know if it's going to be next year, but they'll probably get at least the ALCS. They've been to 6 in a row, barring major injury. So, they're going to have a say in this.
When you look at that team, dude, they have a solid nucleus because
they don't have a weak spot.
They're pitching. Justin Verlander.
106 and 56, and nobody was talking about him.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Well, they had locked everything up, was the thing.
Everybody always
when they ran by the Yankees.
Everybody was saying that the Yankees can't beat them.
Yeah, but people were thinking the Dodgers were going to be the team that was waiting. So, who was the one elephant in the room? Because they looked inhuman.
Dodgers would have put up a better fight than the Phillies.
Yes, they would have.
Even though the Phillies,
I thought the Phillies put up a heck of a fight.
The Phillies had them on the ropes.
They did.
But I mean,
when you pitch and talk about answering the bell. The next night, you get blasted 7. They would have hit 5 dingers in that game.
Yeah.
And they only had like 3 hits, whatever it was. They didn't even get they didn't get in scoring position. I don't think that game. That was one of those. If they could have thrown a towel, and they would have done it.
Oh yeah.
The next night,
stomping.
The next night, the pitching staff goes
no. Yep.
And pitches the second no-hitter in World Series history. Talk about answering the bell.
Yeah.
And then they never looked back. And look, Philly didn't.
The Astros should have won Game 1.
They should have. They blew it.
They were up 5-0.
Yeah, they blew it. But again, but Philly did that. Philly, that's not a fluke. Philly was doing shit like that. So I mean, it's not like, So I'm not.
No, give Philly credit for coming back.
Yeah,
6 unanswered.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, a lot of crazy shit happened in this postseason, which to me was part of what made it so great.
Yeah.
So I only wish the Red Sox were in it. And because I predicted the Mets to go further, they went further. Because then
what was the best moment of the postseason for you? I don't know that you watched it that closely, but.
Oh no, I did. It was for me. It was Seattle, who had been out for 14 years, who looked like dog shit at midseason, and turned their season around, won a series. Young team, but a lot of talent. That kid who won the home run derby, who's on that, I like him a lot. I'll tell you, the Seattle
Julio.
Yeah,
is it Julio Rodriguez?
It's Julio, yeah. And they are, to me, tell you what, they're gonna get better. So Houston's gonna have a few teams to deal with in the but that's what's
no. But I'm saying, what was the moment?
The moment was when they won that first round series, because I was like, in fact, that was the one you predicted. Mm-hmm. You called that upset. The upset. You know what's funny? We both got our upsets right. I predicted Cleveland would upset. That was mine, and we both got our upsets right. We got everything else wrong, but we got our upsets right.
Yeah.
But to me, it was the Mariners. My moment when they won that series, because they just seeing that crowd, like they lose their basketball team. They're going through this whole. The Seattle Seahawks are actually doing pretty well. We'll talk about football in segment 2, but so that's been kind of cool. But for these guys to kind of come out of nowhere, because they did. Mm-hmm. And make the run they did when they were undermanned. They didn't, they had some talent. They really didn't look like, but they, you know what? They manned up and they were worthy. They belonged. They proved they belonged. And for me, that was it. Because I was rooting for the underdog, and they
finished the year 20-something games over 500.
No, they literally that second half they were as good, almost as good as any team in the league.
But I think the biggest moment might have been the Bryce Harper 2-run homer in the bottom of the 8th.
That's another one
to knock off the Padres.
Yeah.
In terms of like just moment, but
the Padres knocking off the Dodgers was a moment, because no one saw that coming.
That's true.
The Dodgers were 14-5 against them,
the Padres knocking off the Mets too.
Well, you know what? We thought it would go. Well, I thought the Mets were going to sweep them, because I thought the Mets were going to get pissed off. It turns out that the guy that I thought would be pissed off is the one who blew it the most. But the other, DeGrom stepped up. He was good. They just no-showed in Game 3. Couldn't hit in the shit. And but to me, there was a lot of moments. You could pick any one of 5 or 6 moments that I could, and any one of them I wouldn't have a problem with. I'd be like, yeah, totally.
Well, I think when the Mariners won the first game, I think they were down 7 or 8 to 1.
They came back.
And didn't they win 9 to 8?
They won 9 to 8. Yeah.
That was insanity.
I'm just telling you, that team was the feel-good story of the. They really were.
Oh no, I think the Phillies were, dude.
No, because they were good, but Philly was good. They just didn't know how good they were.
Dude, the freaking Mariners are better than Philly, I think.
Nobody had the Mariners doing anything before the season started.
Nobody. Oh yeah.
Nobody picked the Mariners to finish at 500. Let alone make the fucking postseason and win a round.
I don't know who picked what.
Well, I know they weren't. Nobody had them finishing higher than 3rd in their division. And that was probably Seattle.
Stinks.
It does stink, but the point is, no one thought of
right. Who is it? The Angels and the A's, and then the Astros.
Yeah, there is that team. the borderline dynasty. The Angels are the biggest disappointment, I think. How can you have some of the talent they have on their roster and you can't even? They're I can't understand them at all. That makes no sense to me.
What a waste it is to have Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani out there.
That's disgusting.
Like
that's disgusting. Two players like that.
How many times have you watched a game with Mike Trout in it?
Not many. Maybe
like a handful.
4 or 5.
Right.
Maybe.
And I don't even remember him.
Yeah, he's on in a primetime spot to the whole nation season.
Only time I watch him is when the Mets are playing the Angels. Yeah.
And I'm in the American League. I don't see him.
To your point, a Sunday night game.
That ESPN Sunday baseball. That's when I saw him. That sort of deal. That's when I saw him. I never saw him.
But they stink so much. They're rarely put as the Sunday night game, no matter who they're playing.
It's only when he's coming up on a milestone. You know what I mean? That's basically what it is. And I'm like,
everybody says he's better than Mickey Mantle. Okay, I never got to see him play.
I've seen him maybe.
I didn't get to see Mickey Mantle play. I didn't get to see Mike Trout play.
I've seen him 4 or 5 times.
I mean, yes, I've seen
live.
I've seen replays on SportsCenter of amazing catches and bombs
shit like
he's
that.
hits.
I mean, but
you don't watch him.
I don't know.
It sucks.
I don't know. To me, that is the biggest enigma, that team, with some of the talent they have.
And now you got Shohei,
that dude's
who's an ace and a power hitter.
That dude is Babe Ruth. He's
way better.
No, but I'm saying Babe Ruth was a hitter and a pitcher, and he excelled at both. That's what I'm saying.
He did not pitch like that.
No, I didn't say. I'm just saying for the era. I'm not saying Babe Ruth has as much talent as him in terms of a pitcher. He doesn't. But Babe Ruth was an excellent pitcher and an excellent hitter.
I think he pitched for like 2 seasons.
No, he pitched for more than 2 seasons. He pitched for the Red Sox. I mean,
let's see how many seasons he pitched.
He pitched more than 2.
I understand you're not making a comparison of how good either
I'm saying
one
for
of them
that,
is.
he's this guy
Yeah.
in terms of his talent, because he could do both. That's what I'm saying.
And we don't even get to watch it.
Because they're irrelevant.
Anaheim.
They're irrelevant. Anaheim has not been. When was the last time Anaheim was really even good? Like when they were really a legit threat. When was the last time that happened? Like I can't remember. So anyway, the bottom line is they're the enigma. Kudos to the Astros and Dusty Baker again. Hell of a playoff. This was the first year of this scenario.
It says 10 years he pitched.
I know that. I said he pitched the whole first part of the Red Sox dynasty. He pitched.
1933, pitched 9 innings.
Yeah.
That's not
In
a
19,
pitcher.
huh?
1933, pitched 9 innings.
For a season. No, but he pitched, that's 1 year. And by the way, 1933, he was towards the end.
Was he?
Yeah, he was. He wasn't, yeah. I mean, he was the 20s. That's when he was doing his thing, in the teens. So anyway, the bottom line is this guy is Babe Ruth because he was a great pitcher and a great hitter. And
It seems like he pitched more than I thought he pitched.
I don't remember the exact number. I just know it was way more than 2. It's like, but this is that guy, and it doesn't matter. Babe Ruth won World Series with the Red Sox and the Yankees.
Yeah.
Like he's a mainstay in 2 of the most iconic dynasties in sports, or franchises in all sports. So that to me, I mean, but this kid's is like that, and no one even cares because they don't get a whiff of a playoff series, of a division title, of anything, of a wild card, nothing, nada. So I don't know.
It really actually looks like he pitched for 4 seasons.
Now it's 4. Well, it's more than 2.
Yeah, no, I mean, and like
Well, the
32
equivalent of-
starts, 44 starts, 41 or games. So he could have been a. No, they didn't have relief back then, did they?
They would pitch 9.
Yeah.
It's like fucking. If they didn't get lit up, they pitched 9.
Yeah, so really he had 1, 2, 3, 4 years of like, 3 years of over 25 starts, and then 2 years, 19 and 15, and then
After that,
like just 1 game here and there.
no. So clearly the arm gave out.
Right? Yeah, they're like, dude, just hit.
Just hit.
Just hit.
Just be
baby.
Babe Ruth.
Just
Just
hit,
be a
baby.
candy bar. Okay? Just be a candy bar. You have to settle for a candy bar, babe. Anyway, so
Yeah, that's a mess out there.
yeah, so that's a mess, and I feel bad for those fans because if you're a fan of that, that must drive you up a wall. But congratulations to Major League Baseball for getting this right. It was awesome. It was truly a fall classic. A lot of awesome things happened. A lot of good competition, and the future is bright for Major League
I've heard a
Baseball.
lot of hate on the
Why?
format.
From who?
Braves and Dodger fans, basically. Or I'll say Braves and Dodger apologists. Okay?
What?
Because remember when the Mets lost? Remember the Mets lost?
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be blinking? Or just on?
What's blinking? Nothing's blinking.
Is it supposed to be blinking? This is red light on the mic, dude.
That light's not blinking.
Okay. I said, is it supposed to be?
No, it's not supposed to be. So that's how we had no sound. We the greatest episode never.
All right,
got.
I was asking the question.
We were. What's that guy's name? We were Charlie Chaplin. It's terrible.
The entertainer.
Yeah, him. So anyway,
So people were hating on the format, saying that it lessened the impact or the importance of the regular season.
didn't the first team get a bye? First 2.
Yep.
So how did
one
that?
team got a bye.
Only 1? Well, then I thought it was 2.
Top 2 teams.
Top 2 teams.
Top 2 teams got a bye.
So you got to sit up and relax and watch 4 teams, 4 great first round series beat the crap out of each other. Yeah, that was terrible, absolutely terrible.
Yeah, no.
By the way, one of those teams was Houston, who won the World Series. Duh, a da ba da doo, a da ba da.
Okay.
Well, that's to those idiots who said the format fucked it. Well, a team with a bye won the World Series, so clearly that's not true, is it? Just hey, let's not let facts.
Is people-
let's not let
so-
facts get in the way of your
So
opinion.
here's what happened, okay? So Mets won 101 games, bounced in the wild card round. That's the Mets' fault.
Yeah.
When that happened, everybody said that's the Mets' fault. The Mets stink. The Mets are chokers. Then what happened the next round? Braves won 100 games. Bam, they're out. Dodgers won 111. Bam, they're out. And then instead of going, it's their fault for losing, everybody went, I don't like this. I don't like how the importance of the regular season is now just a sham. Why are you going to play 162 games if anyone can win in the postseason? Shut up. Just like the Mets, they should have won those games, and they didn't.
The problem with that argument is the fact that a team with a bye won the World Series. No, so clearly it benefits the team.
Even if a team with a bye didn't win the World Series.
It wouldn't have gained either way.
It's so dumb.
That's their argument.
It's so whack.
But didn't the number one seed win it?
But I don't know.
So how does that make sense?
So they're not arguing about the bye. They're arguing that, like, teams like San Diego, they didn't deserve to be in the National League Championship Series.
Here we go.
They did not play well enough all year. And it's like, that's what a tournament-style playoff is.
That's the point of it. The fact that more teams have a chance.
Right. The higher in seed you are, the more things are stacked in your favor in terms of home field advantage and things like that. And the seed you play.
It's still set up for the higher seeds to win.
Exactly.
You still have the advantage.
Right. The higher seed always has the advantage.
Yeah,
it's
you show me. All they do is it gives them a chance. It doesn't. I hate people like that. It drives me
Otherwise,
crazy.
you have one winner from the National League and one winner from the American League.
And that's fucking boring.
That's boring.
That's fucking boring. And by the way, you know what sucks about that? The regular season is boring because it's over.
Right.
Fucking the last 6 weeks
for 25 teams, it would be over.
You think about the last 6 weeks of the regular. They were freaking like 18 teams were like all in a bunch and they're all like fighting. I'm like, this is gonna be, and it was. And more fan bases were interested. The ratings were higher. These people, shut up. Just all of you shut up. I hate people like that. Make no sense. Whatever you, God forbid you do something for the betterment of the sport.
Yeah.
I mean.
You want to maximize playoff games.
Yes.
And everybody that goes, if you put an extra in, it cheapens it. No, it doesn't. It's another playoff game.
It doesn't cheapen. In fact, it adds more drama to it.
The only time it cheapens it is when you do something like, we're going to have a one game playoff.
And here's the thing: what if these people that are making this argument, their team was the one that got as a wild card and ended up winning? Would they say that?
They'd love it.
Would you say they'd love it? You're full of shit. Would you say that then? If your team got in with 87 wins and won the World Series?
That was my point. That it had to be people who wanted to see the Dodgers and the Braves win. It had to be.
Yeah, people like that need to shut the fuck up. Just like, seriously, shut the fuck up.
Just shut the fuck up. Oh, you cheapen the regular season.
You got to be kidding. That's an argument a kid makes. Like, seriously, that's an argument a 10-year-old makes. I know. I got an 8-year-old.
What would you say though to MLB shortening the season by like 30 games? Basically, cut out a month of the season.
What? I mean, how? It's been 162 games for how long?
Well, at one point it was 154.
Okay, but when did it? Do you remember when? I mean, it's been 160 games since I remember watching.
Yeah, since I was a kid.
I mean, it's been a long time. I mean, I'm 49. Shit, I mean, it's been this way for so long. That doesn't bother me per se. What would bother me was that the lack of chance to get into the postseason. If your team wasn't a top 4 team in all of baseball, you had no shot of even getting into a postseason. It was boring.
Yeah.
It was fucking boring.
So basically you'd have an ALCS and an NLCS?
That was it. You'd have the winner of each division play for the pennant and then the World Series. It was fucking boring.
So up until 1961, a major league season was 154 games. The American League was the first to adopt a longer season in 1962. The National League also adopted the 162-game season. Hold on, what?
When?
The American League was the first to adopt a longer season.
Okay.
And then in 1962, the National League also adopted it.
So it was just they came up with it first?
So maybe the American League did it in 1961?
Yeah. But in any event, it's been that way for 60, 70. Yeah. I mean, who gives a shit? To me, that doesn't matter. No. It's part of what makes baseball baseball. Because it's a marathon.
Yeah, it's a marathon.
It's a marathon.
Yeah. And sometimes it sucks because by the end of it, you got nothing left for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
but everybody's in the same. But everybody's in the same boat. So it's not like. So to me, what Major League Baseball had to do it did.
It did it.
It did it, and it hit out of the park with flying colors. And if this is what every playoff can look like, they are going to win on this huge. In terms of fan base, huge. Okay, 12 teams is so much better than 4. I'll tell you what. Look at the college football playoff in 2 years when it's 12 plus 4, and you tell me the difference. You're gonna feel it. Okay, everybody and their mother's gonna be watching that and betting on it. And you watch it's gonna be like March Madness for football, and it's gonna be amazing. And I can't believe they took this long to figure that out because all those guys seem to want to do is make money anyway.
Well, just look at the NBA.
Yeah. I mean,
the NBA lets half the league into the playoffs.
I don't care.
I know, it's fun.
It's fun. Because you know what?
Some of those playoff games are trash, but they're still playoff games.
Look, we talked about this. The Celtics and the Lakers, when they had those epic battles, there was the losing team in the series beat the winning team in one game by 30-plus points in both series in 84 85. 30-plus points. You know how many Hall of Famers were on those courts? Like 10. It was like, oh my God! And yet still, the other team, when they were on, they could blow you out by the Boston Celtics.
I remember when the Knicks, as the 8 seed, I think beat the Heat. Were the Heat the 1 seed?
Yeah.
And that's the year they went to the finals with
Latrell Sprewell,
Allen Houston, and Latrell Sprewell.
And that was exciting.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I mean, so you can't. That just no.
And that stuff is not possible if you don't.
Yeah, you can't have the underdog.
And that's not going to happen every year.
Part of what makes sports is the ability of the underdog. That chance happens. David to knock off Goliath. That's part of what makes sports sports. It just is. Did you see the did you see the freaking LSU Alabama game tonight? LSU hadn't beaten Alabama, and and it's the 1 year Burrow was there, and then but Alabama basically had their way with them. They come back and they knock Alabama out of the playoff. Alabama's out. They're done. They're gone. Okay.
Clemson's gone too.
Clemson's good. Notre Dame. Hey, there's a Notre Dame sighting. The Irish aren't dead after all.
Clemson's first loss.
Yeah. They were 4th in the country. They were the 4th.
But are they going to drop them to like 6, or are they going to shoot them all the way down?
It was Notre Dame, who has 3 losses. But
what are Clemson's big wins?
One was Ohio State at Ohio State. So
they beat Ohio State.
No, Notre Dame lost by 10 to Ohio State.
You're talking about Notre Dame.
That's actually a good loss. But Notre Dame had the loss to Marshall. Yeah. That's the one that killed them.
No, but I'm saying, what losses does Clemson have, or what big wins do they have?
They had beaten 2 or 3 ranked teams already: Wake Forest, NC State, and Syracuse.
But that's not like beating another.
No, but they were all ranked teams. In the case of Wake Forest was unbeaten when they beat them.
I know, but nobody gives a shit about Wake Forest.
I didn't say they did. I'm just saying that where they were when they beat them was they were highly ranked and they were undefeated.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I mean,
so
in terms
that's
of the
considered
standings,
a big win.
But I think with this committee, are they solely looking at numbers, or would they be the type to look at it and be like, okay, their big wins were against
a lot of things would have to happen for Clemson to get in the playoff right now. A lot of things would have to happen.
These things could, though.
Of course they can. But I'm just saying that, because Tennessee's still in it because they beat Alabama, Alabama's out of it. But if you look at TCU won today, TCU's undefeated. They're going to move up. Michigan
now Tennessee's win over Alabama doesn't look as good.
It doesn't now. But at least they've only got 1 loss, and Tennessee can still get in the playoff.
Is that Alabama's
second loss? Alabama should have 4 losses, for being honest.
Who were the other 2?
Texas should have beat them. They got robbed. Texas got robbed. And the other one was A&M.
A&M almost beat them, too?
Yeah, A&M almost beat them. A&M's not good. So, I mean...
See, and that's why this sucks. If there was 12 teams going in...
That's the thing.
Because Alabama should be in the playoff.
There aren't 12 teams better than Alabama.
Saying.
I don't think there are 6, for being honest.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, but the thing is...
But they got beat.
But they got beat twice, and they lost to Tennessee, who was number 1 when they beat... was undefeated. Mm. And they lose at... LSU was 10. LSU was a good football.
That's
not a bad loss. Both their losses were on the road to 2 teams ranked in the top 10.
Dude, so maybe they won't... Maybe they'll go to like 7.
They were
4, weren't they?
No, yeah.
Or was Clemson 4?
They were. I'm sorry. It was Ohio State.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It was Tennessee, Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson. That was the top 4. 5 was Michigan. 6 was Bama. 7 was TCU, who was undefeated also.
So if they're already 6,
they were 6
beat by 10. They got to go to 10.
They got to go to probably 10. LSU's going to move up because they beat them. So they're probably going to be. They'll probably drop to 10. LSU will probably move up to 9. Clemson may drop. God, that was an unranked. It was on the road. If we're being, Notre Dame is a good team. They're not a terrible team. They're 2 of them. Really, 2 of the losses were legit, but one that Marshall one. Oh God, still can't understand that one. But to their credit,
Marshall.
No, it's terrible. But the thing is, if Notre Dame, because USC is probably going to win. What if Notre Dame upsets USC, who's also going to be in the top 10? That'll be 2 top 10 wins for Notre Dame.
So USC has 9 right now.
They're 9, and they're winning tonight. And so they're the favorite to win the Pac-10. Well, that's them in Oregon on a collision course. Where's Oregon, by the way? They've moved up.
So they're sitting at 8.
They're 8. Yeah, that's going to be a heck of a matchup.
They're 8-1.
They have not lost since the debacle in Athens.
They've
against
won
Georgia.
7 in a row.
7 in a row, and they've been blowing people out. They blew out UCLA, who was undefeated.
So you said it correct right up until Alabama. Then TCU, who to your
7.
point 1 is going to.
It's going to move up. Michigan and TCU are going to both move up.
Oregon's number 8.
8.
USC's number 9.
Yeah. Who's 10? And LSU was 10.
This says UCLA.
Where's LSU?
15.
Okay, I'm looking at the AP poll. In the AP poll, they're 10. That's you're looking at the playoff poll.
Yeah, the CFP.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So in the AP poll, they were 10.
I hate that that's different.
Well, but that's the whole quality of win thing. And
which one is by the coaches?
There's a coaches poll too. There's 3 of them.
Oh, there's 3
of them. Yeah, there's 3 of them. So there's a coaches poll too.
I always like when some asshole coach won't give somebody a number 1 vote because they're just a dick. You know what I'm saying? Like they give it to somebody else, and then people are like, "Oh, we should ask him about that. Why did he vote?"
He's just a dick.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You know, like if it was like Alabama and Auburn, like the Auburn coach would be like, "Oh, LSU's number 1."
That's too funny.
You know,
that's too funny. No, but that has happened. So I mean, no, you get a point. So anyway, it's just funny the way you put it.
Liberty's 23.
Yeah, Liberty was 23. Wasn't Tulane up there somewhere too?
Tulane is 19.
19. So I mean, this is the thing. Here's where this is starting to happen. And you watch as we go to 12 team
Other
playoffs.
teams are starting to creep in
because
the mix.
recruiting is going to level the playing field in recruiting. 12 teams.
I hope you're right.
If you win your conference championship, you have a shot at this thing. So I mean, this is the thing. And you know what that's also going to do? That's going to improve scheduling the rest of the season.
UNC 17.
Did they win again today?
They barely beat UVA.
Their one loss was Clemson, I think, at Clemson.
Really?
At Clemson. Who's Death Valley? That's a tough place, not Death Valley.
Ooh, they play Wake Forest next week.
Yeah, so did Wake Forest win? They were playing number 22. They were 21. I think it was NC State they were playing. That was like an elimination game. One was going. I think
this shows them as 6-3. Wake Forest.
They've lost 3.
So maybe that's counting the game today.
Must be. Maybe I thought they were 2. Maybe they lost to NC State. If they did,
NC State beat them 30-21.
There you go. So and the Wolfpack got as high.
NC State was 21.
Yeah.
Wake Forest was 20.
22.
So Wake Forest was 20.
Yeah.
And NC State was 21.
Okay. So
now
Wake will probably fall out. Notre Dame might be ranked on Monday morning.
So?
Well, they just beat them now before.
Wake Forest will fall out of the top 25
with 3 losses. They will. But Texas was in there with 3 losses.
Syracuse lost to Pitt today.
Syracuse has talk about a team that's fallen off a cliff. They were 3 weeks ago.
Didn't they lose that game to Pitt?
Yeah, 3 weeks ago they were undefeated, and people were going out, and then they lost to Clemson. Actually, they gave Clemson a hell of a game. That was 27-21. But then since then they've gone downhill. They've gone downhill.
But that's what I mean. Like,
I know.
If one of your big wins,
but if you got a 12-team
Syracuse,
playoff, you're not out of it with 2 losses.
Yeah.
And I don't think you should be out of it with 2 losses. I think 3 losses, you're probably out of it. Unless you're in the SEC and you lose to
Pitt was 4-4 and they lost to them.
Yeah, that's called overrated. Yeah. There's a word for that, overrated. Anyway, we'll be back with a football preview real quick. We're going to talk to you. We're back in a few minutes. Hey, look, it's slugging back Saturday here in the SAC. Gorgeous night.
It's actually Sunday morning.
All right, well,
we're about to turn the clocks back.
We are. Oh, that's where we gain an hour tonight, don't we?
Yeah. So should we record up until 3 a.m. so that it jumps back to 2?
We gain an hour of sleep.
We could actually time travel.
Well, we've done that before. Anyway, at least we think we have.
We literally time travel on camera.
We have. We can. We should.
Like it's 3 o'clock. No, it's not. It's 2 o'clock.
It was 3 o'clock, but now it's not. Anyway, we'll be back to NFL preview. Hey, big slate tomorrow. And we will close. It'll be NFL preview, and then we are going to address Crimea River. Irving, I want to hear Tom's take on this.
Are we also going to name the set?
And we're going to name the set in segment 2. We have to give it a name. We're
going to start with that.
We'll start with that. Okay. Yeah. All right. Grab a frothful. Grab a fine frosty beverage. That's alcoholism for fine frosty beverage. And we will see you on the other side very soon.